hashtag my notebook is bigger than yours.
I don't know what that's meant to.
No, me neither.
Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome back to the WTF1 podcast. I have returned. Welcome. Hello, Jess. Hello, Tommy.
Hello.
I am now functioning, which is lovely, and I'm so glad to be back to talk about the French Grand Prix.
Aren't you,
thriller.
Jess?
An absolute thriller. I'm hoping you guys know that is sarcasm. I'm Matt.
I'm Tommy.
I'm Jess.
And we are here to talk about the Paul Ricard circuit and
What
what
a race.
happened on Sunday.
Did anything happen
Happy?
on Sunday?
Well, I mean, yeah, we were just
There was a
discussing,
race?
weren't we, that we don't really
That
remember.
was testing, wasn't it? Was it
As
testing?
I think, was it LEGP said
Yeah.
that testing was actually more
Better, yeah.
more better than
More better.
Yeah.
more better than
More better.
France.
We're doing well so far. Well done,
So,
guys.
3-word race reviews from fans. Now, there were some bangers, I tell you. There were some amazing 3-word race reviews. So, we got Colin Wolfe 3, so effing boring, which was, I think, the top liked, apart from one other person, which we'll get onto a bit later on. But in terms of the actual race and an overall kind of highlight, Scar Boy 26, I literally slept. Now, I know, I reckon that is an actual literal. You know, a lot of people use
Yeah.
literally, don't they? But I think a lot of people did genuinely sleep. And this one was my favourite of all. Still just a work in progress. Circuit Paul Bollard.
That one tickled me.
That tickled me as well.
They get a point. I don't know what that
They
means.
get a point.
But they win.
They get a point for their predictions.
They win the 3-word race review.
just changes their Instagram bio to got a point in the WTF1 podcast.
The first ever point for 3-word race reviews. You win the French Grand Prix.
And a round of applause.
Yes, a small one, because we don't want to pop the microphones, as we've got pop filters covering our faces. Anyway, so today we're going to begin with my 3-word race review, because I think it kind of sums up how we were all feeling. Ross, do something.
Ah, as in Ross Brawn.
As in Ross Brawn, but
Not
I can't
Ross
say
from
the whole
Friends.
thing. Brawny, do something, please. Oh my God.
What can he do though, Matty?
Everything.
What do you think
Change
he can
the
do?
sport. Just get rid of Mercedes. Make
What?
it a spec series. Boom. I mean, these
Yeah.
are big statements and accusations coming out. But no, don't get rid of Mercedes, but just change the sport, and hopefully 2021 is, get it right. Get the regulations for 2021
something I wrote
right.
down, 2021 is too far away.
It is. It needs-
Something needs to happen now. I wrote something similar
well,
on
not
my
right now. You don't
next
think
race.
right now.
You could
think-
change things for the next race quite
Like
easily. They could get rid of the Q2 when you start on the tyres that you qualify on.
Yeah.
For
You
a,
think that
for a
would help?
start, that would change things, because you actually have the sheet there, don't you?
I do.
Of who stopped when.
I do.
What are we going to
Okay.
call this then? Because this is Jess's first occasion where she's got like an actual spreadsheet.
I mean, you make it sound really, really high tech. It's literally just where people finished,
No,
qualified,
it is high tech.
and
Let's
what
don't tell
their
them.
stints
Don't
were.
tell them what's on the sheet.
Okay.
I don't know what we're going to call it.
I've literally got a database
Jess's jargon.
here. Jess's
I don't know.
jargon.
Jargon. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that goes with Jess.
Why don't we just go with Jess's notebook?
No, because
TM?
that's... Oh, God. So first Nico Rosberg, now you.
Now me.
Who's got the biggest notebook? Anyway, yes, so what have you got on that sheet?
So we were just looking at the stints, and obviously that kind of leading from Tommy's point, most of the guys did their qualifying runs in Q3 on the mediums because that's what they needed for the race.
Q2, you mean?
Q2, sorry,
Yeah.
yes, on mediums. Thank you. That wasn't on my sheet.
Write that down.
Did the Q2 on the mediums, apart from Gasly and Giovinazzi, who
Yeah.
had to run with softs just to get
Just to
there.
get in.
Just Gasly things.
Yeah, but they literally fell away.
Yeah. But what my point is here is Hamilton, Bottas,
Yeah.
Leclerc, Verstappen, Vettel.
Yeah.
You'd say arguably the people that could win the race and do something.
Yeah.
They pitted on, my eyesight's very bad, but
So-
24, 23, 21, 20 and 25.
Yeah.
All at the same time. Why? If we're setting that rule, they're all starting on the same tyre, they're all pitting on the same lap. No wonder the race is dull as shit.
There were
Do you know
a
what I
couple.
mean?
There were a couple of attempts for undercuts and overcuts, but I don't.
But my argument is Q2. If you get rid of that rule, Verstappen might say, "Oh well, screw it. I'll stick on the hards for the start."
Why
there
is
might be a
that?
safety
Why
car.
is that a rule?
It's a hangover from an old rule that doesn't happen anymore.
Oh,
so
which what-
they've just
okay.
not got rid of it.
Okay.
So it's a regulation that they've just kept and gone. this is fine, even though it's rubbish and pointless, and it makes the racing really bad. That's something I wrote down. They even have, now at the start of the race, they have a Pirelli pit stop window.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. But there's no pit stop window in F1 technically.
Yeah.
That just kind of, for me, cements how every single team knows exactly what they're meant to do. Mm-hmm. It's just a computer generated race.
Apart from when you have, weekends where practice is taken away from
practice
them.
is taken away and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And we've seen where reliance on data has actually screwed up a race, whereby if they had been looking at what was actually going on track, Ferrari. Mercedes did it last year as well. I can't remember which Grand Prix it was, but they said that they were. Oh, it was under the virtual safety car. Was it China?
Yeah.
And they were looking at the data too much and going, no, we're going to trust the data, when it should be all about racing.
Yeah.
Right?
And human
instinct.
and human error and
exactly.
human. There should be some kind of human element to it.
Yeah.
And for me, the problem with F1 now is it's just become a computer simulation. The whole sport is designed for just the teams running the cars in this perfect way, and there's no kind of spice to the racing. I think we had a question about why was 2012, like when will F1 ever be as good?
99. We'll give them a shout out. Sun Game 99. Is F1 ever going to be as interesting as it was in 2012?
And what made 2012 good was the teams didn't understand the tyres, so
Yeah.
no one knew when to pit.
That's when they used to fall away a lot quicker.
No one knew when to pit. Everyone was on different strategies. Some people did 2 stops, some people did 3 stops, some people did 1 stop.
Yeah.
Maldonado won a race. She had 7 different winners.
Any excuse for you to drop that in.
But we're at the stage now where you've got a Williams winning and Sauber in 2012 were getting podiums.
Yeah.
Now you're lucky if a midfield team finishes within about 50 seconds of 6th place.
Sure.
So it's
terrible.
Do you feel the same way about the compulsory second compound rule?
What I found with that is Karun Chandhok said a really good fix, which I think we should 100% could do and even implement in the next race, which is use all 3. Because
you have to use all 3.
So then it's guaranteed a 2-stop.
Yeah.
So you're guaranteed a 2-stop.
Puts more element of strategy into it as well.
So you might pit in the middle of the race and go, you know what, I'm stuck behind someone. I might put the hards on and go longer. There's no change in strategy during the races.
Yeah.
Even Canada, the last race, which there was loads of talking points because of the Vettel penalty.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, the first 40 laps were boring as hell.
Yeah.
We were all
Absolutely.
complaining because everyone just pits at the same time.
Yeah.
There's no
guess
difference in the racing.
That would alleviate the whole argument of why don't they just make the tyres fall away quicker? Because we've had that same debate. Like every single time we talk about tyres, there's that argument of, well, let's change the compound so they fall away quicker. But then the drivers complain that they can't push.
That's the problem we have, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly.
Because then we see them going around at a snail's pace, and they're all doing it because it's exactly
the same.
Did you
hear the quote from Grosjean that came out this weekend? That was he did a karting race with friends and said he was more tired after that karting race than he is driving an F1 race because they're not pushing at all.
Hamilton came out saying that F1 should be it was a little bit of a dig at Lando, which Lando stuck it back in. It's good for him. But he was saying that, a 19-year-old shouldn't be able to step into an F1 car and cruise.
Yeah.
So it should be like a really strenuous and exerting sport. And he got a lot of stick for that. And to be honest, it was a bit of a silly comment because he was 21 when he joined F1 and he nearly won the championship. So But I get what he means. It just didn't come across in the right way.
It's interesting though,
Hamilton.
You hear these Grosjean comments of that it's he's more hard work in a karting race, but then you hear Hamilton absolutely out of breath. You have Bottas coming out of the car looking pretty shattered himself. So maybe these are the older generation guys, but at the same time they're at the peak of their fitness.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to wonder, is it different between the top teams and a Haas because of the fact that they have to take everything slower? And I don't know, it's kind of a question for that because you kind of hear that and I'm like, well, that doesn't really match what you kind of see from the front guys. I know Charles didn't look too bad after a race, and you want to see them almost, falling over as you've seen in the past in the good old days.
I think there was even a comment to Lewis post-race where they were like, oh, was that easy for you then? And he was like, no, I was sweating the entire time.
Yeah.
It was Jackie Stewart who touched Leclerc on the head and went, you're not even sweating.
That was that from the cool-down room. There was also
he got 15 years on us and all that sort of stuff.
But it is true. You hear so many F2 drivers and things that say, oh, I had to go in an F1 car and it was easier than F2.
Yeah.
And I think there's some element to that, but I don't think it should be the case where these drivers are meant to be superheroes, and unfortunately we're not seeing that at the moment.
Yeah.
That's the most disappointing thing.
Granted, the racing wasn't great back in the day, but that's
at
what
least you got them
usually
wrestling
see
the
because
cars.
The Bridgestones were so durable and they would just go absolutely balls to the wall. But then you
but
wouldn't
then
get
that's why I mean, like, whenever we talk about the actual tyre compounds themselves, I don't think anyone can ever win, because on the one hand you want them to be going flat out and not having to worry about the tyres, but then you also want to see them have to manage different strategies. So maybe Tommy's right, the fix, and Karun, sorry.
Yeah, shout out to Karun.
Shout out to Karun, because that's good.
I'm sure an avid listener of the WTF1 podcast.
Maybe implementing the fact that you have to use all three compounds would maybe alleviate that.
Yeah. We need a variable factor in races, because at the moment there just isn't one.
No,
it's just not a variable
too
factor in
computerized.
races.
It's too calculated.
Everyone pits on the same lap. No wonder it's bad.
I think the argument for people hearing that will be, well, now you're forcing racing. You know, you're telling.
But so's
DRS.
DRS.
What I don't like is they've put so many ridiculous
gimmicky things.
Yeah,
they've put loads of gimmicks in, and it still doesn't work. So we've got terrible racing, or no racing, as it were, and we've got DRS, we've got battery saving, we've got supposed tyre saving, we've got 3 knockout qualifying, we've got all this start on the tyre. It doesn't mix the grid up, it doesn't do anything, it doesn't allow overtaking. It's just the whole sport is a mess for me at the moment, and there's 2012 is a perfect example of, you take away that luxury of the teams knowing everything they want to do in the race, and you get better racing.
I mean, and again, like, this is something that we bring up all the time, but the lower formulas, their races were really exciting. The F2, both F2 races provided a lot of entertainment, and what kind of blows my mind is that the FIA regulates all of these, and yet can't see or haven't yet gone, well, if this works in F2 and we have really good races, then why can't that apply to F1? I know it's more complicated than that. Yeah. And I guess teams
like Ferrari, no.
Exactly. So and actually this was something that I was discussing at the weekend. And it was a case of, like, which I think is a perfect, teams and drivers shouldn't be able to, like, veto rules made by the FIA.
100%.
You know, they should definitely have a voice. And this is something that Hamilton came out saying, that he'd gone to Paris last week to discuss the 2021 rules suggestions that the FIA is putting forward, and along with F1, and they definitely should have a say, because they're the ones that are living it, right? But I genuinely don't think, and I think a lot of people would agree, that they should be able to veto.
That's really
rules.
bad.
That's the problem, isn't it?
It's the whole Concord agreement, right?
Yeah.
That's what everybody's, like, talking about at the moment. Like, we're meant to be getting to a point where they're going to start revealing a little bit of what that Concord agreement is going to look like, and maybe the first signs of whether it's coming anywhere close to an agreement or not. It's going to get battered back about 20 million times.
And I'm not surprised one bit that the more power the teams are getting in the Formula One rules, the worse the racing is get.
Yeah.
You know, the whole sport, this will probably trigger a lot of people, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Go on. We love a trigger.
Yeah. The problem with Formula One is that teams, not the problem, but teams build their own car, right? So however much, like, people are saying, oh, why don't all the other teams build a better car? It's not as simple as that. The rules are made to help the manufacturers. That's what these new rules have been implemented. And of course Mercedes are winning. Of course Ferrari are top.
Yeah.
They're spending millions and millions and millions, and people can go, oh, come on, Williams, hurry up. I'm sure they're like, oh yeah, why can't we just be a multi-million-dollar road car manufacturer and have our own power unit, and people don't understand.
They forget they're a privateer team. Technically,
the fact is the rules aren't fair. They don't promote.
It's not an equal standing. It's not like you go into a season and you don't know who's going to be on.
But
top.
again,
Exactly.
we've discussed this at length though. Without the manufacturers, the sport doesn't exist. So if you start making it so that the manufacturers aren't incentivized to enter,
that was one of those Tommy faces I
just
saw.
Yeah, because I disagree with that because they changed these rules to essentially benefit manufacturers. And has a manufacturer joined since the hybrid era?
No, but did they? And that, I mean, this is we're getting well deep now.
So deep. The French Grand what?
But, yeah.
What
it's because we don't have anything to talk about the racing,
Yeah.
so we're just going to have a massive debate about F1. But we keep discussing this, right? Motorsport is there for manufacturers to look good and to develop higher end technologies and engineering capabilities and to show off a bit, right? It's a massive, massive PR stunt / test bed for new technologies. And the fact of the matter is that manufacturing of road cars, which is ultimately where these manufacturers are making most of their money, if not all of their money, is moving away from what F1 is, right? I mean, we've gone down to whole V6 turbo and talks about having even smaller capacity engines and obviously Formula E. Formula E is attracting manufacturers.
Yeah.
And so F1, I'm not surprised F1 and the FIA are trying to do everything they can to keep a Mercedes and a Renault and a Ferrari, because without them, I mean, I guess the point is nobody knows, but we're not going to have privateer teams in F1 because it's far too expensive currently to take part. So without those manufacturers, there is no sport. So if you do things that then deter them, we're not going to have F1 at all, and we're all going to be watching Formula E.
Yeah.
Which,
Such a mess.
It is just a mess. And I totally sympathise with fans, with the teams, with the FIA, with Formula One. But this, again, we've said this in previous podcasts. The 2021 rules need to literally just kind of, it needs to be an opportunity where we wipe the slate clean and go, what is racing? What is F1? And how are we going to literally get back to 2012 or before, where we're not sat here every single race and going, what's wrong with F1? What's wrong with F1? Because the point of the matter is it's so broken, as Tommy says.
It is.
It's not going to be a straight up fix. It's not going to be a case of introducing a new rule at every race, because we've just said every time we get a gimmicky fix, it's like putting a plaster over a freaking crevice. It's so not going to work. Yeah. It needs to go back to the absolute fundamentals. There needs to be some kind of intervention, some kind of crisis talk where everyone that's involved with the sport gets into a room and goes, what about this?
But like you said, of course Mercedes are going to go, no, we like winning actually.
Well, yeah, because they're investing so much money into it.
But why should they be allowed? And Lewis has actually said this. He goes, even as someone, it's funny that he's piping up now after 6 years of dominance. But
he's probably bored.
But he's probably bored.
He's bored of not having anyone to race against.
And he's even saying, why should Toto be able to go, nah, I don't want to change F1 because we're winning every single race.
They shouldn't have a say.
I don't think
they should, but not
a complete override of
But that's the horrible predicament
having
that you've
the FIA
outlined.
with their hands tied behind their backs.
They're like, we can't lose Mercedes, we can't lose Ferrari. Otherwise, to be fair, where does that leave Formula One if the likes of Mercedes and Ferrari leave?
But should they be courting other manufacturers and literally just go, do you know what, guys? Go off.
Yeah.
And try and I'm sure they are. There's always been talks of Aston Martin coming back in, Porsche coming in, Audi coming in, but most of those manufacturers are actually winding down their combustion racing and moving fully into electric.
They probably don't want to spend the money either because it doesn't align with what they.
It's the money. The WC are doing something similar now. They've had this era where Porsche was spending more money than Formula One teams to win Le Mans and the WC, and now they've all left. Something needs to change. We've only got Toyota. Let's do these cheaper hypercar regulations so more manufacturers can come in and race. And, Aston Martin have come back. There might be some more teams that get involved in that as well because it's relevant. There's a reason why teams are going to Formula E because they can show off their technology and it's cheaper.
Yeah. I think we can agree that 2021 is make or break for Formula One in a lot of senses.
But I'm worried, like that, as Tommy says, is that going to be too late? Is there even going to be anyone watching F1 by 2021?
2021,
especially when you have paywalls and it's at
OTT
the least accessible it's ever been.
Literally, like it feels like at the beginning of like Liberty's takeover, there was kind of this glimmering hope that things were going to open up a little bit. You know, obviously we had kind of invested interest for them to do so,
Sure.
But it feels a little bit like they've kind of done a bit of a 360, realised that they're not going to be able to commercialise it in the ways that they thought, and now they're kind of like a stranglehold again over the sport. Which is a bit sad to see. And it's not as bad as the Bernie era, but it's, you know, considering these guys are meant to be big American media
making
tycoons,
big changes. Yeah.
People would think we're just complaining, right? And going, well, why? I hate the argument that people are saying, oh, don't watch F1 then. It's like no other sport has this many negative comments on every single... Anything the official Formula One Instagram post now is just boring. Yeah. Every comment, this is terrible. Nothing, like what's happening. The dislikes on all the race
YouTube
highlights, everything.
Yeah.
No other sport is like this. So you can't just go, oh, don't watch it then, because there's not going to be any fans left. Something needs to change.
It's not just a case of not watching. That's why, you know, there are so many passionate fans out there, hence the negative response. So
including us
we're still there. Yeah.
And people want to see good racing.
And on that note, let's move on.
We could literally do a whole podcast on this.
I feel like we've hammered down enough on Formula One. Tommy, let's go to your race review of the French Grand Prix. Do you remember that? That was 2-3 months ago now.
My 3-word race review is let them race.
Go on in, complain to me. Come on, Tommy.
Okay, I think this is going to, again, trigger some people, including you, because we've already had this chat a little bit.
Slight chat. Debate.
I don't think Ricciardo should have got either penalty.
Oh, now that is big debate situation.
We about to go down.
Okay.
Go on. Tell me why.
Okay. Right. Hello, everybody.
Are you sitting comfortably?
Yeah. Okay.
Settle
down, everybody.
I'm going to read you a story.
Okay. So, like the Vettel penalty last week, I don't really care what the rules are.
Okay.
Well,
I don't.
And on that
it's an interesting statement from you.
The rules are over-regulated in terms of racing, and regardless of whether the rule is, technically it should be a penalty, there needs to be some common sense applied to it. So the first incident that Ricciardo gets a penalty for is pushing Lando off the track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So again, an unsafe rejoining.
And forcing
a car off the track.
I watched the replay, and Ricciardo goes round the outside, and he's on the inside. Yes, he goes off the track, but shock, it's Paul Ricard, it's a car park. He's on the inside, and Lando's round the outside, and he doesn't push him off. Like, there's not a wall there.
Okay.
For me, Lando just bails out because he knows he can go over the...
And his issue as well.
He was struggling with his tyres.
He's struggling with his tyres, he's struggling with grip and everything, and he goes, I'll just bail over the runoff to try and keep the place from Hülkenberg. I don't blame him for doing that because the circuit, again, is a car park. But anyway...
Well, no, because the strips are they destroy the tyres.
He's going round the outside of him.
Yeah.
Lando could brake and stay on the track.
Well, you don't know his situation.
He straightens the wheel and goes over.
But the stewards do. They've got all this information.
He could keep turning,
and that's why he was penalised.
But he's not been pushed off.
No, I can see that, and I agree in the sense that I don't think he was pushed off. I think, as you say, Lando did bail. I think he decided, oh my God, okay, I've got a real big issue here. I'm just going to go over it.
Because if we're getting really technical...
Oh, God.
Yeah, you could say, Lando cut the corner, so that's a penalty. And then Kimi...
But he didn't gain an advantage, so it's not.
Yeah, he lost time.
Yeah, and Kimi Räikkönen cuts the corner. He's got all four wheels off when he goes on the inside as well. Didn't get an advantage.
There's just too much for the stewards to keep a lookout. So they were just like, let's penalise the guy that's giving us all the entertainment.
Exactly. Second race in a row, it's happened. But anyway,
first one. Okay, so that's the first one. The first one.
He doesn't get pushed off.
Did you see how well I baited that? That was
you did. You got me as well.
Tommy's like, shut up.
Okay, so next one. He's slipstreaming.
Oh yeah, please talk to me about this one.
Okay. Yes, he goes off the track.
He does, all four wheels.
Does he gain an advantage?
Yes.
No.
Because he is
How
allowed
does he
himself
not gain an advantage?
to go up the
because
inside.
Because it's a straight. If someone
But that's the end of the track.
shortcuts the corner, yes, they're gaining advantage because they're going quicker. There's literally no gain in going on that bit of runoff area.
But it's the end of the track, so Kimi has defended to the end of the track.
And
if we were on any other track, he'd be in the wall.
There's not a wall there.
So wait, so are you saying that the rules on the drivers depends on like the situations of this track? Because
so
incorrect.
So he goes on the.
Was fine
so you're saying the fact
because he cut the corner.
Okay.
He literally goes over and he's gaining an advantage. Ricciardo pulls alongside and he's on the tarmac.
Yeah.
And Kimi goes, oh, this guy's coming through. So he moves and gives him space.
Yeah, because he's gone, oh my God, this guy is insane. He's off the track trying to go past me.
That's hard racing. That's what Formula One should be. He gets on the inside.
You watch too much Indy at the weekend.
Okay, this is actually what I've written down. so IndyCar this weekend.
There we go.
Unbelievable racing. They're wheel banging. They're pushing each other off. And because they just accept it, and that's the rules, they don't... Just one little bit of contact and F1 are like, oh, we better investigate this, blah, blah, blah. Indy just let them race. And yes, I know there needs to be rules. And I think there should be rules if you're ramming someone into a wall or you're cutting corners completely to gain an advantage. But there should be some kind of common sense with the stewards that let people race.
So are you saying if he gives as good as he gets, then that's it? Basically, like, if he gives as good as he gets, then
the fact that Kimi Raikkonen said himself that he didn't see a problem with that but that's
Ricciardo's Raikkonen. Raikkonen doesn't give a shit.
Exactly, no one should.
No,
they should be racing each other
to a point.
to the limit, and that's exactly what happened in the IndyCar race. They're banging wheels, and they're not thinking, oh, I can't if I don't do this move 100% perfect and go slightly off. They're going to give me a 5-second penalty, so I probably shouldn't do it. And it's just made the racing so much better and people go for the moves.
Yeah.
My point is, yes, by the definition of the rules...
He broke it.
He broke it. But for me, F1 doesn't need to be this way.
But I think the problem that we're going to get into, if we do... Because it's really tough because I agree with you and I also disagree with you. I think the rules need to be changed. They either, if we're not going to be bothered about track limits because we're at a track where it's literally a car park, as you said, then remove that rule from that race and allow them to expand and extend and exaggerate track limits.
That would become a farce, though, if they were allowed to do that.
And this is the problem because the rule is there. Most drivers are going to be, and I mean, to be honest, everybody at some point had 4 wheels off the track.
Yeah,
and that actually what got me bothered yesterday was not only the fact that there was inconsistency, because I mean people keep throwing up the fact that even though we were all laughing at Grosjean complaining on the radio, essentially the same thing happened and he wasn't penalised.
At the time.
Exactly.
And because that was that element of common sense.
Because there was the element of common, and also because you just look
him.
and you go, it's Grosjean, no one gives a shit.
And I got sent a picture as well of Vettel, who went all 4 wheels off during his fastest lap.
Exactly. But it was allowed.
But it's allowed.
Because you're allowed to do it once.
And didn't Verstappen... No, hang on.
No, they just don't police it. They can't police it.
In qualifying, they said that they're allowed to extend once or something.
So that's the rule on all of them, right? You get a warning... And then if you do it again, you have your lap time removed. Yeah. And I think didn't Verstappen have one of his? Yeah, he did it twice. He did it twice, and he got it removed. I think another track where we have that problem is Silverstone.
Yeah.
So they get a slap on the wrist at first, and then they get penalised. But if there's going to be this is the thing. These are why the fans get so upset because there just still seems to be a lack of consistency. Yeah. And so we need to decide, right, what rules are working? Again, kind of linking back to what Tommy was saying in the first part of the podcast, we need to take a look at what rules still apply to racing, where we seem to be having massive inconsistencies and problems, and we need either to readdress how the stewards are interpreting the rules or what rules exist, or we need to get rid of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we need to just because you're right, in other sports. It's like when you're watching people literally smash into each other, and there's the stewards are just like, yeah, it's racing.
Yeah,
Robin's racing, and let's get on with it. No one crashed. No one's had their race ruined.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the other thing that was really upsetting was the Perez penalty. That Perez penalty wasn't a penalty. I don't think it was a penalty.
See, that's another thing where it's just so ridiculous. For me, I'm not really sure on it because he did everything he was meant to do. For me, it just highlights the stupid track and the stupid
That wasn't
rules.
Perez's fault. Like, what was he meant to do? Literally rejoin the track, slam on the brakes, and let everybody who
It just shows how farcical
him.
these tracks are becoming, basically. For me.
I know what you mean. Like, they've put that rule in, so you go around the bollard and then you rejoin the track. But the problem is they clearly haven't taken into account that lap 1, everyone's going to be congested.
Bunched
They're
up.
going to be a lot slower through that section, and Perez gained 2 positions by going round
But
that
literally,
way.
I don't think he tried to gain 2 positions. He was.
I'm
literally,
sure he knew what he was doing. I'm sure he was like,
Well,
this
he probably
is...
was hoping, like, haha, like I'm still gonna get. But
Yeah.
he still did what he was told
But
to
why
do.
why can't the FA just look at that and go, oh yeah, he overtook Grosjean.
I mean, was
Instantly get on the
there a
radio and say,
message?
let him through.
Let him through. Yeah, that's
Done.
literally all you
They
need
don't-
to
But
do.
again, I don't know. Was that message relayed to Perez?
No.
No.
Well, no, they
He was
weren't
given a
ordered.
straight.
It was
He was
just penalty.
given a
It was just
straight penalty.
And to be fair, the penalty was less harsh than if he had to let Grosjean through because he was 6-7 seconds down the road from Grosjean.
And he's already ahead of lots of cars
Yeah.
and can
It
gain
ruined his
advantage.
race. And that was the other thing. I think there was, again, in the post-race press conference, the interviews, they were saying that an F3 driver had the exact same incident happen
And it got
and they
removed.
removed his penalty.
And that was the meme that was made by Vettel.
And Perez just, and Perez said, like, it wouldn't matter if they'd have removed that penalty because my race was already ruined.
Yeah.
So, again, it just needs to be. But my problem, again, with common sense, is that still down to human interpretation. And already, the other thing that got me really bothered yesterday was the fact that this penalty was for Ricciardo was delivered hours after the race had finished.
Which again proves that it's so over-regulated and it's still inconsistent.
Well, I think the problem there might have been that all the drivers obviously have their media.
And then like, we need to then...
They have to do
then
the
they go to
media,
stewards.
and then but why should the drivers be allowed to go and?
They should be able to assess it, and that's it.
Yeah, because I mean that's the argument they used with Vettel, right?
Yeah.
They did not allow Vettel the chance to go to the stewards after the race and stand his point. They were like, no. We have all the telemetry. We have all the data. We don't need to speak to you. It's a penalty. You've lost the win, right? Absolute outcry, obviously, but fair enough for them to go no. And I mean, we might talk about a little bit later about what Ferrari did post that.
In this 4.5-hour podcast.
I still can't believe how long we're going on considering nothing happened in the race, but there you go. Where was I? So yeah, why in that instance were they willing to wait around for Daniel to explain himself?
Which highlights the inconsistencies of just... Because they have different, obviously, stewards for different races and everything like that.
They actually had two of the same stewards there from the last race as they did with this race. Different driver steward. But
it's just odd, isn't it? It's
just,
I think Ricciardo only got... I'm just going to say it. The only reason Ricciardo got that first penalty is because they wanted to
make a point about...
make a
To make a
point,
point, yeah,
and
'cause
it's
if
the
they didn't-
hangover from the Vettel
Then they would,
penalty.
yeah, because if they hadn't have given the penalty, everyone would have been like, well, what's the difference?
Yeah.
He came on the track, pushed him wide. Yeah, it's an interesting one. There's a question actually from Flauschflocker _. What would you change to the penalty/stewards system?
I think that, again, like, this is such a... deregulate it.
Yeah.
Take out Article 38-B...
Exactly.
5. Like, take it out. Decide what are the absolutely critical rules whereby if you do this, you shouldn't be racing.
Yeah.
Right?
It all comes back to that Mario Andretti tweet from the last thing.
Yeah.
That's, yes, if someone pushes someone into a wall, if someone cuts the corner and does something genuinely...
With intent.
Intent.
Yeah.
With intent.
Because Ricciardo got 3 penalty points.
But Ricciardo...
He wasn't trying to kill anyone.
No, he wasn't trying to kill anyone, but he
racing.
was definitely trying to massage the rules. Like, he was definitely...
Yeah,
he was
but
definitely...
penalty points for me should
he
be...
did not give a crap how he was rejoining the track after the Lando overtake. So... In my eyes, like, it's like, and also he didn't give a crap where his car was when he was trying to get Raikkonen. In his mind, all he was caring about was, I am not backing out of this. Which, fair play.
Which is what we want to see. We want to see that in
We
Formula
want to
1.
see hard racing, right?
But it's deemed unsafe.
But it was with intent. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
So whereas, like, with the Vettel situation from last race in Canada, whilst they're saying, yes, he turned in slightly or he was looking in his mirror to see where Hamilton was, in that split second, I don't think he was intentionally going. Well, he probably was thinking to close the door. He probably was closing the door. No, yeah.
He's gone, oh, Christ, I'm going over the grass. Hamilton is going to be on my right.
But to do 2 of those moves in that short space of time, I think I would let off and he's going to kill us, but I would let off the Lando penalty.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't let off the Raikkonen one.
I'm the same. Sorry, Tommy.
I don't agree, but cool.
We don't have to agree. That's why podcasts are great. Yeah.
Stop killing the racing, please.
So then we got Sergio Perez. Yeah, so those are the 2 main kind of incidents. Brams Far says FIA killed racing as his 3-word race.
Can we just shout out the race director as well that didn't show that 4-wide battle?
Oh my God! Yeah, we haven't even touched on that.
I mean, technically, I was like, well, thank you very much for showing Shah.
Yeah, I appreciate.
It was a very difficult decision to make.
Yeah, because Stroll was closing in.
And also, how do they not have split screen in 2019?
That's what I was thinking. That's literally what I said in IBR. I'd love to see Crofty try and commentate 2 different battles at once.
But also, they can split screen when it's just an interview.
Yeah.
So why can't we split screen if there's like multiple? In fact, we should be showing that there's multiple things going on at once, because to everybody else sitting at home, it looked like a freaking boring race. But there was the Russell overtake, which everyone
she blew up that braking
after this fact. The Toro Rossos were having a nice go of it. Giovinazzi was
overtook Magnussen,
doing bits. It's like
they can split. They do it in IndyCar, they do it in NASCAR, they do it in WC.
Well, they definitely have
they have the capabilities,
but they just don't use it for some reason.
It's very odd.
Very strange. To be fair, we haven't really had that issue, have we, this season? That's the first time that they've been
have.
Oh, God.
We've talked about it all the time.
Why
weren't they showing
battles,
it?
I suppose,
and of course, like they're going to want to show the front runners because they're the front runners. But you should
usually
also
nothing's
have
ever happening with those. Like that's why we're seeing them, and there are midfield battles going on.
Yeah, Formula 1.5 cam is what we need.
Yeah. God, imagine if they called it that. That would be meme worthy. So moving on from the penalty stewards' angriness.
Well, can we just touch on what Ferrari did?
Go on.
So this weekend, Ferrari appealed the.
Denied. Cool.
No, but did you hear what they
the
used?
Evidence. Yes.
In order to
our friend Karun Chandhok.
Yeah. They brought analysis done by Karun on Sky
and they
as
said it wasn't
evidence.
relevant.
Substantial evidence, wasn't it? Like breaking new evidence.
So they brought a list of criteria. So if you read the FIA statement, they brought a list of criteria. They deemed the only new bits of evidence that they brought the FIA hadn't already seen was this Karun Chandhok analysis and Vettel's was it Vettel's witness? No, Vettel's face cam, which they said, we literally have every other camera. What's his face camera going to show us that his onboard didn't or his telemetry didn't or whatever? So they deemed that to be like...
I love that so much.
They might as well have used tweets.
Literally, they might as well use John 42 from Leicester says you're absolutely wrong.
Take it away.
And the FIA goes, absolutely, bud. You're completely right. Sorry about that. Have the win back.
It was fair play for them trying, but that is
apparently Hamilton said that he wasn't even slightest bit worried after he heard that they'd used that. I mean, bit embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to wonder what they were thinking. You really do, don't you? It's almost like they just tried to tick criteria just so that they're like, please just think about it again. Please just look at this. Just watch it one more time.
What was quite funny though, again, talking about the bias of drivers and teams, Hamilton put an Insta story up about how Ricciardo's thing wasn't a penalty. Don't remember that one after the Vettel incident. But...
Where was this, Lewis?
Yeah.
Where was this last race?
This new bromance between Danny Rick and Lewis as well.
Yeah.
They're like hanging out now, so not surprised. He was like, I don't deserve a penalty.
Top mates.
Yeah, top banter.
Right, speaking of McLaren, let's move on to more positive things, shall we? Some rays of sunshine.
Everyone.
As much as we've spent literally the entirety of this podcast bashing F1.
We do
like it.
Love it.
This story was the feel-good story of the weekend, which was McLaren impresses everyone. And I don't think there was a single person that wasn't impressed with McLaren's performance.
Fernando Alonso.
Probably correct.
Probably going, why now?
Yeah, why? Come on, please.
But it was just, they were both the team and the drivers just did a phenomenal job. And it was the only kind of glimmer of hope that someone could bring it to even Red Bull.
The fact that someone was fighting a top 3 team Yes, it was cool.
Yeah, and I know Vettel was out of position and had a few things going wrong, which is why he ended up qualifying 7th. But to have both McLarens qualify ahead of a Ferrari,
and also the fact that they were so close on pace that a mistake actually led to something other than 4th on the grid for Vettel.
Yeah.
It was nice to see, wasn't it?
It was awesome, and it was just the pace was promising. I thought Sainz had an absolute stonker of a race.
Yeah.
Lando obviously was hugely unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it really pleased me to see his maturity and how he dealt with having a broken car, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, even towards the end, maybe he got a little bit shaky, but I think anybody would in that. When you literally have been holding on for dear life for like 20 odd laps.
There's a 100% force feedback challenge.
That killed me.
It prepared him.
That killed me. So, yeah, you're going to lose your power steering.
So for those of you that haven't seen Lando on his stream a few months ago, tried our 100% force feedback challenge, which we did on the channel quite a while ago. And
You've never done it before, I do.
It's a very funny... No, he not on that particular rig at least. And I think he's got a much stronger wheel than the one that we had. So he couldn't even hardly turn the wheel. And
we essentially trained you for this, Lando, so you're welcome.
Yeah, go and check out... Is it on our Instagram, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on our
Instagram.
So if you want to go watch that, it's quite funny. But one three-word race review from Andrew O'Sullivan. McLaren was relevant. Yeah,
finally.
Yes, they were. So some questions. Cars Reog _959. Why is Norris such a G? Now, that's a question. That kind of question I would ask. So why is he such? I mean, he was very funny on the grid, wasn't he? Bopping along to his the music. I love the fact that he was like proper going for it when the beat dropped.
It was just nice to see someone actually be excited about being in a Formula One car for once.
Yeah.
That's something I
It's
wrote
personality,
down,
isn't
actually.
it? It's really nice.
That F1 teams and their PR are almost trying to make Formula One drivers into these PR robots. And
Apart from Danny Rick.
But Lando has come straight in. He's been his own personality.
Yeah.
He's been commenting funny things on Instagram. He's been posting memes. He's essentially
he's got the freedom to stream.
He's been doing streams on Twitch, and he's gaining so many fans.
Yeah.
Like people absolutely love him when he comments on our posts.
Yeah.
And our
lose their minds,
Instagram, which he did a 3-word race review, didn't he?
Yeah,
He did do a 3-word race
5-second
review.
penalty, I think.
Yeah,
is
it
what
said
he
5-second penalty, which is hilarious.
Don't agree with you, Lando.
But it's also, I think the thing as well is like you can see what difference that makes within the team. And I think that's the relationship between him and Sainz is just one that works. They seem to be very much, I mean, had Lando not had that issue and they were properly battling out on track, maybe it changed. We always say that, when you're actually competing with one another, does it change? But I think they just gel well. They have a really good relationship.
Yeah.
And that clearly boosts morale for the team because can you imagine working with people that are difficult? Not to name names.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder how much McLaren, performing, how much better it is in the team that they've got these two young guns that are happy to be there and they're working together and they're quick rather than it must have felt nice. However, like Fernando Alonso, don't get me wrong, unbelievable driver.
Sure.
But
toxic.
But McLaren, they probably had years and years and years of him with immense pressure on the team, feeling like he needs to be in a championship winning car.
Milking them for many millions as well.
Yeah, and having radio rants and all sorts. And it's probably nice that they've got a bit of...
Well, they've got Lando. They've got Carlos is like an older brother to Lando, isn't he?
It's a bit calmer and probably a better atmosphere that they don't feel so much pressure, and they can just build and work their way up to the top again.
Carlos is probably having his best season ever purely because Lando's come in, this young gun who is very, very quick, and they're pushing each other, and I think that's really putting the team in the right direction, which is great to see because it's nice to see McLaren finally up somewhere where they belong. Obviously, not at the front of the grid just yet, but it'd be nice to see them hopefully in 2021.
They should be best. They should be best of the rest, if not competing with
close
Red Bull.
To Red Bull, yeah, which would in qualifying was very, very close.
It's a shame that Sainz and Verstappen battle only lasted one lap because that would have been tasty.
Yeah, but it shows at least on one lap pace around Paul Ricard, McLaren were on par with Red Bull, which is very promising, isn't it? So we've covered why Norris is a G. We're now going to talk about from a question from Coveney. Says, do you think McLaren can be best of the rest in constructors this year? Now,
This year?
This year,
Ooh.
yes. And I think
they could be, but I don't think they will.
They could be, but I think one of the very limited amount of things that are good about this season is the fact that the midfield teams do seem to chop and change as to which one is the quickest. You've got Haas that are absolutely nowhere at the moment, but you think, they could turn up at Austria and be really good.
Well, they turned up at Australia and looked super promising.
Until Grosjean's wheel didn't go on again. But but that's the thing, like you can't really tell who's gonna. But then you would imagine McLaren being the might that they are, if they're in this position where they're almost at Red Bull pace around a track.
I think it's going to be
take that.
McLaren Renault. The McLaren and Renault are going to fight each other pretty hard for the rest of the season.
Because then obviously we had Renault in Canada that looked really, really good. So I like that. At least we've got the midfield top team.
There's a positive thing.
Yeah. That's I think
I love F1.
We should focus on that. Like as much as we shouldn't be focusing on like it shouldn't be that we get excited about the midfield. There shouldn't be a midfield. There should be a complete spread of teams where every team comes to a race and could potentially win and get on the podium but that side of F1 is still there. It is still ticking on.
That's what we need for every team, don't we?
Yeah, exactly that. We need
Formula
that.
1.5 championship that everyone posts.
Which we said last year as well.
Chopping
and
changing.
This is the thing, like, is this year, do we just put this year down to an awful pain year? Like, when you just kind of like...
A lot of pain.
You just suffer through it because you're hoping that it's going to get better.
But 2020 will be just that last pain year and then...
Well,
then it's
yeah,
fine.
we'll see. We'll see what happens, but...
Sad
We're all
times.
still going to be here, aren't we? Ultimately, and not just because it's our job.
Hopefully we'll still be here.
Please still have a job.
Please keep watching us. I know everyone's bad, but we're good. Speaking of someone that isn't good, Pierre Gasly. Marcus Sang. Is it time to swap Gasly? Previous form,
God.
yes.
He was bad.
I think it's time for him to go. Genuinely, he's had 8 races now, and he's not had one race where he's been anywhere near Max Verstappen.
One of my highlights of the race.
Apart from that qualifying in Canada, which, by the way, I predicted.
But that was a fluke, wasn't it?
I predicted it.
My wife,
Katie.
Katie.
Shout out to Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Just the funniest bit of my race was about 40 laps into the race. Katie really angrily just went, "Sorry, what the hell is Gasly doing?" Just like really annoyed about it, and the genuine anger of like, how is he that bad?
When he showed so much promise.
If he was 6th,
Rosso.
you'd go, okay, he's still beating the midfield and Verstappen is overperforming by beating a Ferrari.
Yeah.
He was 11th on the road.
But he needed to use soft tyres to get to Q3.
Yeah.
Which you could tell Horner was not happy with.
Oh, yeah, he's going to
was-
have to start on softs.
Because we had to use the softs to get him even in that qualifying
and
section.
Horner,
Literally, I was like, oh, God.
Horner's into savage as well. He said he kept going on about how the team did everything they could because they said, we did a perfect pit stop. We got him ahead of Ricciardo.
Sorry, there's someone opening the fridge behind us. And
I was wondering what you're looking at. I thought there was some weird thing on my shoulder.
I got hugely distracted because there's like legs appearing.
Legs.
Don't worry about the legs.
Don't worry about
It's
the
fine.
legs.
It's just people
Ignore the legs.
refreshing themselves.
It's
Karen,
not Gasly.
It's not Gasly. Trying to find his performance in a fridge. Carry on. What were we saying?
He's just bad, isn't he?
Wow. Yes. Yeah.
Again, like,
I don't know. I don't get.
it's just tough. It's just
Is
really
Max
tough.
Verstappen that good?
Well, yes, Max Verstappen is that good.
Yeah.
He is that good.
Wow.
You okay, hun?
Okay.
I'm fine. You wait till we get onto Bottas. No.
man.
Max Verstappen is that good. We've discussed this on numerous occasions again. Like he is stellar, right? He's so good. So that's going to be tough for Gasly to even like get a word in edgeways in terms of.
But Ricciardo was there or thereabouts against Verstappen, and then
Well,
Gasly.
I mean, he had a lot of
But Gasly
reliability
should be
issues, but
finishing
yeah.
6th. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He should
Oh,
be.
absolutely.
But I think
he's
like,
not.
and again, we've said this before. Like we don't. Oh God, I just said like someone. Whoever's doing shots, do a shot. We don't. It's so tough to know because we've seen how good Gasly is. To then see him be shit.
He's not a bad driver.
It's like
Yeah,
this is the thing.
He's
This is
not
what I'm like.
He's not a pay driver that has just lucked his way into
No,
one. He's
we
won
know
the
that
GP2.
talent is there. We
Finished
know
fourth
it's
in
there.
Bahrain.
Yeah,
didn't he, or
won
something?
Super Formula.
like it must be something fundamentally different about that car.
He should swap out.
He just can't get his head
maybe
around.
he should swap out and completely come out of the Red Bull family.
Yeah.
Because and I think that also, like, can you imagine turning up to every single race with Dr. Helmut Marko breathing down your neck, going, I mean, he's known as the Axeman, right? Yeah. So imagine an axe hanging over your head every single time you try and do your job.
Can I tell a story?
I mean, I know I'm always there, like, hanging over you. With an axe. No, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's how can you possibly do your job properly? And I don't like.
When I was in Austria, I went to Renault World Series when I used to do some work freelancing for Red Bull. So I was in the garage with Antonio Felix da Costa, who was Webber had. Everyone thought Webber was going to retire. Yeah. So da Costa, everyone thought was going to be the guy to replace him. And I was at the back of the garage, and honestly, Helmut Marko just being there, you just felt the tension.
Presence,
and he had an absolutely shocking race. He stalled. He had a really poor race, and he ended up not getting that seat.
Of course,
went to Kvyat.
Yep.
And you could just feel the pressure. So I can't imagine how he felt, because even just standing near Helmut Marko, it can't, whether it's good or bad pressure.
I think
having someone
you
just
have to be that kind of
there,
person, don't you? You either thrive or you just dive.
Yeah.
That's a new phrase. Right, yeah.
So, dive.
And I guess
Red Bull Junior team.
I don't want people to think that I've got... because I can imagine a lot of people are throwing back, well, you don't give Bottas any leniency and he was good and blah, 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 blah. But I again, like...
Any chance to bring up Bottas?
I don't think Bottas should be in the Mercedes seat. I don't think Gasly...
Teach yourself
it's not good.
There.
It's not good. It's not good for him.
Yeah.
It's not good for his career.
Yeah.
It's not good for him. Just like,
it's good for getting podiums, having some silverware at the end of the day.
Well, handed to him.
Yeah. Oh.
But the same thing, like, it's not good for Gasly to be in Red Bull anymore, because it's going to ruin his career.
I think it may well already be doing that. With
he's
the performances he's
bigger teams
he's showing. He's up against a future world champion.
I think it's already just killed his career.
I think so too. He's up against a very good benchmark. Teams will look at that and go, "You were literally nowhere."
Yeah.
What was the problem? The car wasn't
and
great.
Also, like, having the McLarens looking as good as they did, and then him being nowhere.
It's going to be so hard for Gasly to turn his career around after that.
Yes, it's sad because he's clearly shown that he's got a lot of pace.
But Kvyat,
oh my god,
he turned it
there's
around.
no way Kvyat is going to come back to Red Bull and turn things around.
No, but he might
Just
go
saying
to
he's turned
another
around
team.
his
He
career
might.
come back. But I think Kvyat.
Not many people get second chances.
Yeah,
he's been on it straight away though. You have to say, Daniel, he's been unbelievable considering what he's gone through.
But anyway.
Anyway, moving on.
What's next?
Slightly casting our minds to F2. You mentioned it earlier, Jess, just for F2 being chaos. Viva_Rogaband, what is your opinion about Raghunathan's 9 penalty points?
He shouldn't be racing.
He shouldn't be racing.
He shouldn't be racing.
He is the slowest man I've ever seen.
But it's not just that, it's dangerous now. He couldn't even frickin' turn his car around in Baku.
Oh, that was funny.
What?
Yeah.
If you can't physically drive your car and you don't know the freaking rules of the sport, you should
Say
not...
freaking now.
I love it. Freaking.
You should not be allowed to race.
No, you shouldn't.
So for people that don't know what happened, he got...
Yeah,
so
calm down.
He had a penalty point.
Context.
For, I believe, punting Jack Aitken in Monaco when he was already a lap down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you've not been watching F2, he's become a meme because he's, genuinely like 7 seconds off in qualifying.
And we're not even
absolutely nowhere. In a spec series,
7
seconds slower.
Which you'd even imagine a normal punter.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Once you've had hours and hours and hours in a spec car.
Anyway, so he got 3 speeding infringements during all 3 virtual safety car periods, which is just flat out dangerous.
Yeah, so he's literally speeding.
So he's been banned for
Good.
And the big talking point is that so this all happened in the feature race. So in the feature race, he earned 12 points on his license, which is an automatic race ban, but it's actually a round ban.
Yeah,
so he was then allowed to race in the sprint race.
Despite being
banned.
And imagine if he'd done something really bad in that race.
Which he could have done. Like he
will genuinely do something very bad, either to himself.
But yeah, what I'm saying is if he'd done something in the sprint race, I don't want to think of horrible things, but do you know what I mean? If something had happened, the the pressure on them going, okay, this guy's dangerous, he's been banned, why wasn't he banned?
Exactly. And then you really would have
a lawsuit on your ass.
Yes, Tommy. But I think you were saying like every time the leaders or any car went to lap him, literally thought he was going to punt all of them off.
Yeah.
Just taking weird racing lines. It's kind of
how does he have a racing license?
I don't know how he's allowed to race. He must have serious cash money.
But this is where we joke about pay drivers and people give Stroll a hard time. At least he can race.
He's on the pace. He's won an F3 championship.
Yeah. There's no comparison between a Lance Stroll and this guy.
But it makes an absolute, complete and utter joke of the sport to be able to have someone who doesn't even know the rules and regulations, who can't even control his own car.
Why would he even want to do that? I don't understand why.
Because if someone could literally say to you, Matty, have an F2 seat.
Yeah, but I don't.
Literally,
the embarrassment of it. Though.
You wouldn't have to do anything. Here's a seat.
But it's endangering.
But you wouldn't care, would you?
It's a strange one. I know what you're saying.
I don't think most people would turn their nose up at beginning.
No,
given the chance to race.
But there is that part of you that would just see all the people online.
To be fair, if I was offered it, I would want to test the car and see if I was any good. Because at the end of the day, would you want to race against the very best when you're 7-8 seconds off the pace and it's a danger? You're a danger. Like you'll be in the car, and I would literally be petrified to be going around at such a slow pace. And I don't know why he would be doing that. Anyway, Raghunathan, to be continued, I guess.
I hope not.
See you in Silverstone.
Yeah, literally, I hope you don't even get allowed to finish the series.
It's sad.
Season,
but,
even.
I'm sure
series.
Raghunathan is a big time watcher, so please stop racing. Right, ABCDF1.
Oh God, are we at that point already?
And now it's time for
ABCDF1.
Yes, we're at that time. Let's talk. How are we going to do this? All right, we're going to do it in twos. We're going to do it different. Okay, so we're going to start with Mercedes. Okay. Lewis Hamilton. Flawless.
A star? Flawless?
Didn't get fastest lap. A.
Oh, okay, A. Fine.
But then that was.
That
was by a tiny margin.
And how many did he set during the race?
Oh, I've got a broken seat. Fastest lap. Oh, my tyres are blistering. Fastest lap. Please.
The worst.
You've not dialed my engine in correctly and you keep getting me to change modes. Fastest lap.
Literally,
how bad for Ferrari that Hamilton on worn hard tyres, Vettel only just beat.
Well, no, but he had problems. Vettel on that lap. Did you hear? He was. I think it was something to do with his energy charge or something. He was saying,
on the final lap.
He said otherwise he would have smashed it by a country mile. So he had some issues, which meant that he only just did it. But I think A star for Lewis Hamilton. Like it was flawless all weekend. Sadly. Absolutely smashed. Our next contestant.
Is that the first A star? Is that the first A star?
No, we've given A star.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Valtteri Bottas.
B.
C. No, you can't give him a B.
C.
Well, he qualified second.
Terrible
finished second.
qualifying.
Well,
in a car that's so much quicker.
20
seconds.
If you want to give him a C,
trying to give him a B.
He finished 20 seconds behind his teammate and almost got beaten by
12,
Ferrari.
13, wasn't it?
No, it was 18. It was 18.
Charles right behind him, wasn't
he? He finished 18 seconds behind Lewis.
Yeah,
that's a C.
That's a C.
I mean, yeah,
Average.
fine. Like, I will happily go along with that.
I will happily bash him.
No, but I thought, No, you're right.
There's nothing.
I've got nothing.
I've got nothing.
Right, we're going to move to Red Bull now. We're going to switch it up.
Are we alternate?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to miss out a team. Anyway, Red Bull, Max Verstappen.
B.
A again.
B.
A.
Why an A?
Because he literally didn't do
Verstappen.
anything wrong again.
Yeah.
He's just getting the best out of the car every single race.
Yeah, but he didn't get a podium.
He couldn't get a podium because the Red Bull sucks and his teammate was 11th.
Yeah.
That's not his fault. Or his worry.
It isn't his fault.
What's going on?
I think Max. Yeah.
Fine. I'm going to get outvoted.
Yeah. On every vote.
But can I just footnote that I did say that Max Verstappen was really good?
Yeah, you're
in the
like, he
podcast.
is stellar. It's B.
For all those that skip straight to Jess's rating.
Yeah. Okay, so Max A. Pierre Gasly.
Go home, F.
F.
He literally he scraped into Q3. He finished out of the points.
His team
Actually,
did,
no, technically he finished
everything.
in the points
He
because
finished
of the he finished 10th.
Ricciardo.
But again, that's only because of a penalty.
Yeah.
When your own team is saying we did everything we could
to get you into
there was nothing
Q3.
wrong with his car. Pierre Gasly, F. Haas, Romain Grosjean,
F.
F. Just
Yeah,
He's just boring now, isn't he?
I just
He's
can't
stop.
stand him.
Oh my God, really?
It's just
It just annoys
every
me.
team radio. He's literally got no one around him. Like, did you see that? That guy just tried to take me out. Come on,
It's embarrassing.
get over yourself. Just stop being overtaken.
Oh,
is
yeah, don't put
embarrassing.
yourself in a position where people can take you out. Yeah,
Honestly,
there we go. That's
he's
our
lost
advice, Roman.
If
I used to rate him,
if
but
I
now
get
I'm-
my way and rules are like IndyCar and people can push each other off, imagine how much Grosjean would hate.
But maybe
F1.
he'd push back.
Yeah, get your elbows out.
Well, I mean, we've seen him absolutely wipe out about 4 cars at Spa, so he is
Oh my
capable.
God, don't bring up that
He
again.
is capable. So
Jesus.
Roman Grosjean F. Kevin Magnussen.
F.
No, he had a bad weekend, didn't he? But
C, D. Hassan nowhere.
Haas went
Yeah,
nowhere.
really
frightening.
difficult.
I'm like, why are you down there, Grosjean? You're in my fantasy
Because they
team.
don't qualify that
You're in my
bad a lot of the time.
fantasies.
You're in my fantasy, Grosjean. Please finish
Did I
on the
tell you,
podium.
I had a dream I was Lance Stroll the other day.
That you were Lance
I was
Stroll.
Lance Stroll.
Were you really bad with the media?
Just bathing in money.
No. It was a really strange dream. There was
Please
nothing
do
like
tell.
dodgy about it. It was just I had to move out of this hostel, and I was Lance Stroll.
Stroll.
Stroll in a
I
hostel.
know, right? Already we're in a parallel
I'm in
universe.
a dream. I know I'm in a dream.
Well, it was actually quite a nice hostel, but it was definitely like it wasn't a hotel, but it wasn't like. Anyway, I digress. He had 2 fictional brothers, one that was a thin version of him and one that was a fat version of him. And they were telling me to hurry up and move out, and then I woke up.
So hold on, you're not even driving. You're not in an
No,
F1 weekend. You're in a
It
hostel.
had no F1 relevance at
Apart
all,
from the fact you were
apart
Lance
from the
Stroll.
fact I was Lance
Did you
Stroll.
look in the mirror? Is that how you knew, or
I just had a
You just
feeling.
knew.
I just
You just
felt
had a feeling.
Canadian.
I'm Lance Stroll? That's it. And you've got a fat and a thin
No, I think,
brother.
didn't I I think like a TV thing came up and it said Lance Stroll, and I was like, oh, that's me.
Right, cool.
TV graphic on real life.
I've literally lost it all. How did we get from Kevin Magnussen's rating to you dreaming about Lance Stroll?
I don't know.
So
Next
Kevin
is
Magnussen
Racing
D.
Point.
Okay, Racing Point. Sergio Perez.
Oh, that's a tough one.
C.
That's a tough
Where
one.
did he finish?
He finished 12th, and so he gained 2 places.
They're not great at the
Really
moment, are
anywhere
they?
either. Yeah,
They're
they're
just
not.
nowhere, really. It's unfortunate.
And he was hard done, but as he said, his race was ruined as soon as he got that 5-second
I
penalty.
shouldn't have got you.
It's disappointing that disappointing that Racing Point.
Sport Pacer.
Yeah, Sport Pacer
Pacer
Racing
Racing.
Point. Now they've got the Stroll money behind them. They're not
doing
really
worse than if
moving
they
up
had
the
less
grid.
money.
because they were always that team that were punching so
Yeah.
far above their weight.
They were always
And you
fourth.
said,
in
how
the
are you finishing
constructors.
fourth when you have, £2 in the
Now
bank
they
account
have £3 and they're doing
and
worse.
they're doing worse?
Rory, could you not do that? Thank you. Lance Stroll.
Well,
Jess?
as Lance Stroll. No, and
How was
again,
your
like,
race?
Didn't he?
what is his problem with
What's
qualifying?
his problem?
What is his problem?
So he qualified.
worst
Where did he
race.
qualify?
17th, probably?
Where's Stroll gone? Where's he gone?
18th, 17th?
He's not on my sheet. Oh, there he is. 18th, and he
18th.
finished 13th.
Yeah, so decent race. C.
But I'd argue
He's just got an issue.
you get a better strategy by having bad qualifying anyway.
Not between Q1 and Q2. Like you could
Well,
qualify
he
11th.
he did.
start
Didn't he
wherever
do
you
the
want.
same thing where he just started on the hard tyres and just went for ages?
He
and then-
only used hard tyres.
Yeah.
Wait, what? You can't
Yeah.
only use hard tyres.
Oh, he can't
No.
only use hard tyres. That was literally the point we made at the beginning of the podcast.
Hello? Have they changed the rules?
My sheet is wrong.
It's literally the opposite. It's like, yeah, you can use one tyre.
One tyre
That's
only.
it.
Well, when you're that low down, they
being
kind of
Lance
just slip
Stroll,
away.
you should know these things.
Like,
In a
clearly,
hostel.
I'm just not aware of anything.
Amazing.
Just only your fat and
Not
thin
you-
brothers.
Okay, Lance Stroll, rating. Come on. C.
C.
C. Okay.
Needs to sort qualifying.
Toro Rosso, Daniel Kvyat.
I need my sheet again.
Dean Kvyat.
I just find it really difficult.
those-
They
weren't
were
really
nowhere as
anywhere.
well.
They did have a real nice little
Ding dong.
ding dong.
Which Albon won? That ding dong.
No,
I showed
Albon didn't
you
win.
this. There was a great post online that someone put up, and it was the Toro Rosso battle where they were fighting for position, and someone changed the graphic where it says, where it says battle for 15, they changed to battle for Gasly's seat.
It's very
Oh,
true.
sorry,
Could be
Gasly.
very
Wow.
true.
So Albon qualified ahead of Kvyat. So he qualified 11th
Yep.
and finished 15th. Whereas Kvyat qualified 16th and finished 14th.
Both D's then. Just
Yeah.
a pair of D's.
Shout out to
double
Albon
Ds.
for knocking
Double
the
Ds.
bollard. Shout out to Albon for knocking the pull Bollard onto the.
Oh, was that him?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
because he had a
Oh,
little
I didn't
cheeky
see
corner
that.
cut.
That was.
Yeah,
I thought it just rolled. I thought someone just
bored.
got so desperate, and Marshall
And
just
Marsh's
went.
just gone, please, for God's sake, give us a safety car. And we had a virtual safety car for 10 seconds. That was good, wasn't it?
Literally.
Jeez.
Everybody, Twitter literally exploded.
It's almost like they don't want entertainment this year.
Who?
F1.
Oh, okay.
Just
cool.
throw
I've
a
always
safety
been-
car.
We're back to
Come
bashing
on.
F1. Fantastic.
I've always been a absolute stickler that all of Eccleston's ideas about like sprinklers on the track and stuff should never be
But
used.
they had sprinklers around the track, didn't they?
And I was actually super excited when the bollard just came out of nowhere.
Someone run over it, please.
Yes, please call a safety
something.
car. That would be
Bernie
amazing.
installed falling over bollards that can just.
Mario Kart. Ferrari, Sebastian Vettel. Oh, he had
I'd
not
say
a very
D.
good weekend.
I'd give him a
yeah.
D. He was
D.
poor. I think he had a bit of a hangover from Canada. He was still in a bit of sulk.
Yeah, bit
But I
angry.
mean, and as everyone kept pointing out, he's a married man now. Like,
He's got more to lose.
I mean, what? I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
Does he have more to lose, Tommy, being the married man in this room?
Yes.
Yeah,
than
what's,
before?
what's it like to be married?
Yeah, tell us.
All right. Yeah, I like it.
Cool.
Good chat.
Katie, for what? Hi, Katie. Charles Leclerc, A.
No.
No, B.
A.
B.
He outqualified and beat Sebastian Vettel comprehensively
He should
So
be doing
why
that
does
anyway.
that-
and nearly
mean-
finished second.
No.
I feel like the Ferrari was nowhere.
He did not
in
finish
comparison.
second.
Nearly finished second. Nearly.
We didn't.
I guess
B.
I feel like the Ferrari wasn't particularly there and he had a really good weekend.
B.
now I'm tempted to go for A now because I think he was on par with Max.
Oh, gee.
I think those two are very
Just
similar.
I'm being out of it again, for God's sake.
Sorry.
A or B, Tommy, you have the,
Okay, let's go A. Sorry,
Yes.
sorry, Stroll.
Renault, Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh.
C, cheat.
C for cheat. Oh, Lando.
And that's the thumbnail.
No, I think C.
Where did he?
C,
What
yeah,
happened
I'm
with
gonna
him?
say C. Yeah,
Finished 7th on the road, but finished 11th.
I give him a B for going.
Give him
getting his
a B
elbows
for
out, but
going
you're not allowed to do
balls
that in F1.
deep
So
into that corner.
So what are you going for, Jess?
He had balls. B.
Okay.
B for balls.
We're going for B. Nico Hülkenberg.
C.
Hold on.
Where even was he?
He was in that fight.
He gained 5 places.
And he didn't go off the track. B. For boundaries.
For
Because he knows them.
Yeah, C.
C.
B.
I don't care.
B. No.
C or
yeah. B. I don't know.
This podcast has been so long, I don't really care.
Yes, B.
Okay. McLaren, Carlos Sainz. A.
A.
Fantastic. Lando Norris. B.
B.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Got beaten off the line by his teammate and was being beaten.
Can I have one more controversial statement?
What?
Lando Norris.
It's overrated.
Awesome.
You're not Lando, I love you.
Awesome drive, but I think the driver of the day vote is kind of not a pity one because he did do really
was a pity
well,
one.
but it is very much he drove
He
his
had those
heart
problems,
out.
yeah.
He still got beaten by his teammate. Let's be honest.
And to be fair, no, but he was right behind him and he was like, guys, I can go quicker.
Yeah.
So,
but you're telling me if he didn't have that problem that he'd have got driver of the
and
day.
if he hadn't
probably
got
not.
beaten off the line, he would have been ahead of him. So I'm going to give him a
B.
Okay.
Kimi Raikkonen, he actually did really
He had a
well.
really
he had a
good
really good
race.
race. I'm going to give him an A.
He came from 12th to 7th.
Yeah, he had an absolute banging strategy. Made those mediums at hards last a long, long time.
B.
He did 36
You're gonna say,
laps.
are you saying A?
I'll say an A for
Okay.
Raikkonen.
There's no
Yeah,
point
A
in
for
saying
Raikkonen.
anything.
Antonio Giovinazzi, he was actually doing really well and then just fell off and got overtaken by everyone.
To be
He was
fair-
ahead of Raikkonen. He outqualified him.
Yeah, he did.
Giovinazzi.
How did he end up 10th?
Because he started on the softs.
Right.
He got shafted by being in Q3.
Yeah,
This
he
is another
did.
reason why I don't like
It's
this.
almost a bad
I don't
thing
like
to
this
be in
rule.
Q3. Yeah.
You're getting punished for doing well in qualifying.
Yeah. Cool.
Disappointing.
All right.
C.
Williams.
C.
George Russell. Don't know. Williams, just a pair of C's. I have no idea
Yeah.
what happened in their
No,
race.
no.
They
I
didn't
think
get shown. They
Actually,
were doing.
Kubica beat Russell, so
yes,
had a battle.
but Russell pitted twice.
well, maybe he should look after his tyres.
Oh, they were clear. No, because
Yeah,
he was
we
only
have no idea.
on the
He could have had
hards.
7
He was only on the
punctures.
hards for 8 laps.
Must have had a puncture then or something.
Yeah, I can't
But we
remember.
will
what
never
happened.
know because
Oh yeah, because
didn't see
they
Williams.
were racing hard. But yeah, we
they
you
were
never
racing
get.
hard. Is that what you're saying? Because they were on hard. Cool. Good luck.
They're having a they're having a battle which we didn't
They were
see.
in a battle that we didn't see. So
We
can't
saw
comment.
one
We
corner.
saw one,
and it was
move,
great. Cool. C's. Right. Predictions
C's.
for France.
Oh,
Chris said
sugar.
the traffic will be a nightmare. It wasn't. 0 points. Renault DNF, 0 points.
0 points.
Jess,
Oh.
here we go. A couple of points for Jess. There's gorilla statues. Correct.
Everywhere.
Everyone gets overly touchy about penalties.
Everywhere.
Congrats. 2 points for Jess. Tommy, Hamilton wins the race with a gap of over 20 seconds to the first non-Mercedes.
So
How much was
close.
It was 19.
18.9.
It was
18.9.
Yeah, come on.
Rounding it up.
1.1, not 1.
Half a
Jeez.
point.
No points. It's wrong.
No, I'll give him half a point.
It's wrong.
No, I'm
When
overriding
has that ever
this.
stopped us giving half a point before?
Half a point.
A quarter of a point. There'll be some witty fan banners about the 5-second penalty, but it won't get shown on TV, and we'll do the rounds on Twitter.
Didn't see any.
Incorrect. Tommy made one
Probably
at
because
home.
it's France and they're not that funny, are they?
Fans. Wow.
I just meant like in terms of their
No, don't
sense
just
of
no.
humour.
Diogo Magawi, half the field goes through runoff area at the start, or just one. Through half the field. Who chose this? Half the field? Are you mad?
They did last year.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, they did last year.
They did last year. Do you remember Bottas ended
Quite a
up
lot.
like nowhere?
Actually, quite a few people did.
Yeah.
I.e. Girari, Ricciardo on the podium. No.
Wow, that was
Incorrect.
Surplus Asta, double points finish for Racing Point. No. Wow, that was a terrible prediction.
terrible.
Apart from for me.
Terrible.
Apart from you. Predictions for Austria. Me, Verstappen to dive bomb Bottas for P2.
Why
Just feel
not?
like Verstappen will go for an absolute worldie into turn 2.
okay.
That
Make it
absolute-
stick.
Who knows?
Dun, dun,
I'm not clarifying because Jez didn't clarify hers. And Charles Leclerc wins.
Oh, shock.
Well,
Literal
my
shock.
predictions came true and they were really far-fetched last time. So, hey, can you blame a man for trying?
We have to pray for a non-Mercedes win, really, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to have to rain or both Mercedes DNF. Jess, a team will double.
Oh, a team will double DNF.
Mercedes last year.
Yeah, exactly
And?
that. And the pole sitter will not win.
Very generic, very safe.
But it
Well, actually, no, the
is...
first one's not very safe, but the second one's very safe.
Oh, there you go. I'm mixing up a bit.
You're going for a half.
I can't keep winning every week, guys. I can't keep winning every
And
week.
Tommy's is the race will be in Austria,
Yeah.
and it's going to be
won't
F1.
take. No. Mine are the commentators will make bad Sound of Music cliches,
Yeah.
like they always do.
As they always
the
do.
hills
So
are
there
alive
you go.
with sound
They
of
always
Formula
do that. So that's an easy point.
One. Yeah. It's all right when I do it.
But it's a little bit
This is-
quirky.
this
It's
is
a quirky
Yeah,
prediction.
it's
Ism.
quirky. It's
It's a
quirky.
quirky, safe prediction,
quirky.
if that's even a thing. And
And Stroll's fat brother. No. Helmet.
I was going to say, I'm not, when did you change this?
Helmet Marco will make some savage comments about Gasly.
I hope so. I just want to see it happen. I just want to see him go
You
in.
want to?
I wanna see it
I don't
happen.
want to see it happen.
I do. It's good drama.
I don't like it.
We've got
don't
it.
like
I
it,
don't
Gasly.
like
Just
it.
get out while you can.
It's harsh,
Literally,
'cause he does seem like
Gasly,
a
run.
nice guy, doesn't he?
Please. And the fans were J_Nair11. Bottas 2.0 will actually turn up.
Oh, okay.
If he exists.
Just was about to say many swear words. At Matt_Ip, safety car lap 1. And the Kevin Van Dyke, Gasly will not make Q3.
Oh,
Cool.
Is that what we went with? Yeah.
Well, that's what's on the sheet, Tommy. You chose the fans ones.
I didn't copy it that far. So-
Cool. Well, that is it for the French/F1 bashing podcast. Haven't you enjoyed it?
is anyone still here?
Yeah. Are you still here? It's been 7 days. It's actually the Austrian Grand Prix right now.
Please still enjoy our F1 coverage.
Oh, please. Watch us. It's more exciting than F1.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, can we just... I want to...
Okay, now address yourself.
Yeah.
As opposed to taking it off, which
Ooh,
is...
I'm
oh, no.
smashing.
Wrecking the
People
equipment.
that are listening.
For listening, Jess is putting her race suit on. Doesn't it look great, audio listeners?
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
It's black and orange and white.
I'm not taking it off. It's actually quite hard to do with headphones on.
I have
This is-
one too.
This is great audio
This is
content
such
right
good,
here.
such good content.
Everyone's listening for the zip.
Content. Wait, hang on. Can you hear the Velcro?
Okay, this isn't some ASMR thing.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, the Velcro. 1 minute till finishing.
Right, there you
Jess
go.
has her top
I've got it on.
slash
Well done.
race suit
Excuse
top
me?
on. And that is it for the French Grand Prix podcast. Thank you so much for listening / watching. Make sure to rate us on every platform that you've ever listened / watched us on. 5 stars, especially for that race suit. How would that not get 5 stars? I don't know. I'm Matt. You're Tommy.
And I'm Jess.
You're Jess. And this is the WTF1 podcast. Please don't hate us and let
We
us
love
know what you
F1.
think about the Formula 1 and how they should change it. If you're still here, which you're not. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye 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 bye.